What's going on YouTube? Jason Whitaker, the DIY Dad, and we are back in my lawn, and we're going to talk a little bit about some summer lawn tips. So please follow along. So 80-degree temps here in central Indiana, and it's been pretty hot, smoking hot all week, but the grass is doing pretty well. So you can see here that it's keeping its color. I do have my irrigation on. So tip number one, when it's getting super hot outside, go ahead and get the sprinklers on. You want to get between an inch and a half during the summertime to get your grass to stay green and plush. So I forgot to mention, when you're watering, you know, it's not ideal to water overnight. Do a deep watering overnight. I would say, you know, you can start, you know, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, but have it end around 5 or 6 before the sun even comes up. That gives the water time to penetrate the ground, get into the soil. But I would not recommend watering during the day, peak a day, because all that water is just going to evaporate. There is a cooling siphoning that you can do for the grass, which is like, you know, a 5-minute run on your sprinkler system. That'll go ahead and just kind of cool the leaf blades off, keep them from curling up. But that's not what I mean by watering the grass. Remember, we're talking about getting an inch to an inch and a half of water down into the grass. So we're going to do that 2 to 3 times a week, you know, in intervals to get us to that that inch and a half of water. So remember, when you're watering the grass, avoid watering in the middle of the day. Try to do it early in the morning before the sun comes up. Allows that water to penetrate the ground and get to the roots of the grass where it's more important. So there's watering grass. Tip number 2, go ahead and clean up your edges, because all that dead grass sitting on the edge of your driveway or sidewalk is just going to brown out and look horrible. So go ahead and get those edges cleaned up. And then another one is go ahead and sharpen your lawnmower blades. So you want a nice clean cut to your lawn. Otherwise, the top of the lawn will start to brown out and make your grass look brown. So you can see where my line is from my fence down, nice and green, and you can see that brown haze on top of my neighbor's grass. So I'm not trying to shame my neighbors, I'm just trying to point out the fact that you should definitely sharpen those lawnmower blades this time of year. The tips of the grass will get super brown and just make it you know, not look as good. So go ahead and sharpen those lawnmower blades. And now that we're watering, you don't want to introduce some fungus or some other things to your grass. And when you rip the grass blades instead of cutting the grass blades, you can introduce those things to your grass. And we've already done all this work so far this spring, just to have our grass attacked by fungus. So sharpen lawnmower blades. So here's a really good example of what happens when you don't edge and blow your grass when the heat starts to turn on. So also, if you remember, we dethatched, so our air and water is nutrients are getting down to the soil, and you can see here that this grass here needs it pretty bad. But this is what happens when you don't edge, dethatch, and water properly. You can also tell that the grass is already starting to pull back, and it's the beginning of May. So you can see a lot of the grass is already starting to pull back, and I'm sure that this grass is going to go dormant. Next tip, get some nutrients down on the lawn. So we're right around the corner from Memorial Day weekend, and probably Memorial Day weekend, which is going to be the end and beginning of the month, when I do my next application. I'm going to do an application for the summertime, which is going to be a lot less nitrogen because I'm not trying to promote a whole lot of top growth, but it'll be a little bit nitrogen, but a whole lot of potash, some potassium. So the NPK, so you have nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Potassium is key to keeping that lawn from getting stressed out. So I'm going to find a summer blend fertilizer, which is going to be very low in nitrogen, but very high in potassium, just for the grass to deal with the stress that's going to happen once these temperatures get up into the upper 80s and 90s. So another tip, when you're mowing the lawn, go ahead and mow it at least once a week, keeping that grass to a certain whatever preferred length that you want it. The other issue that some people may have is, like, my grass right now is growing like 4 inches a week. It's crazy. It's just growing bananas. If you're not bagging the grass, make sure that when you're going over your grass that you're mowing it 2 and 3 times, because you don't want all that dead debris just sitting on top of the lawn. You want to chop it up, make it real fine, get it down into the crown of the plant, not just sitting on top of the grass. Otherwise, it's just going to brown out. So right now, I'm bagging my grass. I'm mowing once a week, and I'm pulling up so much grass when I'm mowing. So next tip, mow that grass at least once a week, if not twice, and make sure you're either bagging or you're doing a double cut or triple cut. All right, so there you go. Some quick lawn tips. Remember, we're gonna mow at least once a week. We're going to edge and we're gonna blow. Keep our sidewalks and driveways nice and clean, because that dead grass is just gonna brown out and make the yard look even worse. We're going to make sure we water. We're gonna make sure that our grass and lawn is getting at least 1 inch to 1.5 inches a week. We're gonna sharpen our lawnmower blades, so we can keep the grass green on top and not brown out on top, making our grass look like it's dormant when it's really not. So we're also going to apply some nutrients. We're going to continue doing our micronutrients. We're going to do that every 2 weeks for the lawn. But we're also going to put down something that's high in potassium. Remember, potassium is going to be that stress relief. So here next week, I'll make another video. We're going to do a micronutrient. We're going to do some more Humic 12, RGS, and I got to figure out what brand I'm going to get, and I'll order that this week. But we're going to get some summer blend fertilizers, something that's low in nitrogen, high in potassium, and we're going to get that on the lawn. And then we're going to also look at how my grass is, faring compared to some of my neighbors that are not doing the exact same thing that I am, and see if there's a difference, and see if my grass holds up through the summer. So remember, I got Kentucky Blue. It should go dormant when it gets peak of summer. The goal is to keep it nice and dark green all summer long. So let's see how we go. All right. So thanks for following along. I'm Jason Whitaker, the DIY Dad. Don't forget to subscribe below, like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.